Set inside someone's home apartment, a man drops everything the moment objects begin moving on their own and pulls out his camera to document it.
And just stopped moving, right? So this has moved. I thought it was because maybe one of the things is stuck in the blinds, and I closed the blinds, but that was one.
For about 30 minutes, things had apparently been shifting without explanation. This kind of activity is something he claims happens regularly, yet it has never been captured on film before. But on this particular night, while hoping to finally catch something on camera, he gets far more than he bargained for, and it genuinely terrifies him. Here's what he recorded.
Just kind of now trying, I tried to film other stuff when the bike moved, and I deleted that video because nothing happened. But I'm just, trying to see if I'm going mad and want to catch something. I've noticed things in this flat for quite a while, but I've always put them down to like neighbours' noise or whatever it might be. But this is the first time I've kind of actually seen things move. But yeah, so I don't really know. I want something to move, and I also don't want something to move. If anything is here, please, by all means, feel free to move something. Move one of the leaves here, move one of the leaves there, I don't know, whatever you want to move. Move the bike again, or the remote here. Don't be scared. Although I am a little bit scared. It's one of those horrible situations where you kind of want to off. There is no way. I'm so glad I got that on recording. Oh, I'm coughing all of a sudden. Holy oh my god, I can't believe I actually got that on film. Please move it again. You've done that much. Please feel free to move it again. This, by the way, has been propped up here for ages. This has not been moved. It's never moved before. I'm actually shaking a little bit. Sorry for swearing, by the way. Oh my god. I'm so happy that I just got that on tape. And like this, this isn't like attached to anything. Like there's nothing attached to it. Like I haven't kicked it. I haven't moved anything. It's been, I don't know how it was now, but it's been kind of propped up for a long time. I'm going to lay it down a bit more.
The guitar. Had he not picked it up and given a close-up look at the neck, this footage would leave a lot more room for doubt. There are no visible strings attached anywhere other than the ones on the instrument itself, and nothing in the surrounding area suggests any kind of setup or trickery. It's actually the absence of suspicious evidence that makes this feel plausible, and by extension, deeply unsettling. What makes it even creepier is just how abrupt that movement is. Typically, when an object isn't properly balanced, you'll see a slow, gradual lean before gravity finally pulls it down. This guitar, though, jolts instantly, almost as if an unseen hand gave it a hard shove. As far as the man is concerned, what took place here was without question paranormal. But naturally, drawing your own conclusion is entirely your call. Was there something otherworldly behind this, or could there be a more rational explanation hiding somewhere? In Mexico, a mother and her young daughter shared a home together. Then one day, unsettling noises began emerging from the daughter's playroom out of nowhere. Confused and more than a little worried, the mother grabbed her phone and started recording, and here's what she captured on camera.
Eso. Sí. Marico. Otra vez vos. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa más o menos? Ajá, se supone que esto estaba en la mesa. Y de igual manera, o sea...
Without warning, a doll appears to move completely on its own, right before her eyes. The mother is instantly overcome with fear and rushes out of the room. The following day, she decides to set up a camera in that same space to find out whether it would happen again, and this is what the footage revealed. Sure enough, the very same doll appears to move by itself once more, only this time it seems to travel from one location to another, with nobody anywhere near it. If you were the one standing in her shoes, what would you have done? People who spend their nights exploring derelict buildings and tagging walls are no strangers to risk rotting floorboards, exposed steel, the odd hostile stranger. But when the YouTuber known as Gorilla Hot Tortilla set out for an evening of street art, what he ran into didn't just put him on the wrong side of the law, it seemed to defy the laws of nature entirely. The artist is picking his way through a cluster of derelict homes, hunting for somewhere worth painting, when he swings his camera up toward the roofline of one of the structures and freezes. Perched right on the edge is a figure unnaturally pale, almost glowing against the darkness behind it, but pay close attention to what happens when it comes down, because that's where things get deeply unsettling. A person dropping from that kind of height would slam into the ground hard, needing at least a split second to absorb the impact. This thing does none of that. It seems to drift downward, touching the ground with absolutely no force behind it not falling, just arriving, as though gravity simply had no say in the matter. Then the panic really kicks in, and honestly, you can't blame him. The figure starts closing in on his position, but the way it moves is what's truly wrong about this. There's no head bounce, no weight transfer, no rhythm of a stride. It glides, it slides across broken, uneven ground as if it's being pulled along an invisible rail. Paranormal researchers have a name for this type of movement. They refer to these as slide entities, or linear mimics. Whatever these things are, they don't operate under the same physical constraints we do. They pass through our three-dimensional space the way a video game character might when its walking animation hasn't finished rendering. The artist bolts, pure adrenaline. He runs flat out for several minutes before finally stopping, doubled over and gasping, certain he's put enough distance and wreckage between himself and whatever that was. He turns the camera around, expecting nothing but empty ruins, and that's when his stomach must have dropped. The pale figure is still there, same distance, hasn't gained on him, hasn't fallen behind. It appears almost leisurely, strolling without any visible urgency, yet somehow keeping perfect pace, with a man running as hard as his body will allow. This is a recognized behavioral pattern among predatory paranormal entities. The message it sends is deliberate and calculated. Your absolute limit is nothing more than their idle pace. It isn't simply pursuing him. Its young mother, by the name of Madison, says that strange occurrences have been taking place inside her home ever since she was a child. Whenever she found herself alone in the house at night, she'd frequently pick up on unexplained sounds echoing through the rooms, and this pattern has continued for as long as she can remember. Then one night, while home by herself, Madison hears what sounds like voices drifting from the kitchen, so she pulls out her phone and records something that sends chills down your spine.
It's late and I'm hearing voices in the kitchen. It's just me in here. I'll show you. Sounds like something's banging.
As she makes her way into the kitchen, a faint, eerie voice becomes audible, and then without warning, something that sounds like rapid footsteps charges directly toward her bare feet. Thrown off balance, she stumbles back trying to get out of its path. Madison is convinced she's managed to document whatever has been behind these sounds and footsteps, and here's why. A couple of years back, while she was once again alone in the house late at night, a thunderous crash rang out from the bathroom. When she rushed over to investigate, nothing on the floor could explain the noise, yet the towels were swaying back and forth on their own. She hit record, and when she went back through the footage afterward, what she found was something she couldn't explain away. A shadowy figure glides across the frame before rising upward and vanishing behind the door frame. The way it moves is nothing like how a person would move. Madison is certain that this entity is the very presence that has been disturbing her home for all these years. This young woman had only recently settled into a new apartment with her partner when unsettling paranormal activity began, almost immediately. Flickering lights, disembodied voices, mysterious knocking, and objects shifting on their own. One evening, while her boyfriend is away at work, something happens.
Lo rompebolas que se pone cada vez que llegamos a la sesión. Nadie entra a este placar. Ustedes 20 veces se los he mostrado, creo. No hay chance de que alguien entre acá. ¿Cómo les gusta?
She goes to investigate the closet where the knocking seems to be coming from, only to find it completely empty. Later, she's in the kitchen baking a pie when strange sounds start drifting in from the next room.
Y estoy sola. No hay nadie. Miren. Literalmente no. Qué pesado.
Every piece of hanging cutlery begins swaying and rattling together on its own. Then, on a separate night, she and her boyfriend are arriving home late when something through their window stops them cold.
La sesión, y en la pieza, la cual estaba apagada, está las luces LED prendidas, y no sé si alcanzan a ver esa silueta, sombra, no sé qué carajo es, pero hay alguien parado en la pieza, y estamos literalmente nosotros dos acá. Miren, para que vean que de verdad no hay nadie, subimos lo más rápido que pudimos, y no hay nadie en la casa.
A dark, shadowy shape is clearly visible on the left side of the window, yet the second they step inside, it's completely gone. There's no object anywhere in the room that could cast that kind of silhouette from that particular angle. The very next night, she's lying in bed watching TV when their bedroom camera records something that'll make your skin crawl. Pay close attention. In the mirror aimed directly at her bed, a dark shadow figure glides across the reflection before disappearing in an instant, while nothing in the actual room appears to be moving simultaneously. Shaken by this, they set up cameras covering both the mirror and the windows. That's when one of them records this. The dark figure shows up again, this time reflected in the window glass, and bear in mind, their apartment sits well above street level, meaning no one could physically be standing outside. And yet, somehow, something was. A Reddit video uploaded roughly 2 years ago has continued to captivate viewers ever since. In it, a man is shown moving through his home, and by his own account, he already had a nagging sense that something wasn't right. Unable to explain the feeling, he pulls up his security camera footage, and that's where things get interesting. Out of nowhere, a static-like disturbance materializes on the screen. It hovers completely still, radiating a sharp glow, before vanishing without leaving a single trace. Shortly after, the man is shown pacing through the rooms, seemingly trying to make sense of what he's seeing, but it doesn't stop there. Just a few seconds later, that exact same shape shows up again. It hangs around briefly, then disappears just like before. No answers, no explanation. The man himself admitted he never figured out what took place that day, and the question still lingers. Was this nothing more than a technical glitch, or was there genuinely something lurking inside that house? This next clip was posted to Reddit by the user shown on screen, who claims to be a hospital employee. According to this person, the 4th floor of the hospital had been sealed off and out of use for several years, with no staff or patients going anywhere near it. The whole level had essentially been left to sit empty and forgotten. Then one night, while making his regular rounds, a security guard decided to pass through that floor, and what his camera picked up genuinely shook a number of his co-workers.
You need to come to 369 because we're experiencing a ghost.
Big time.
Literally.
Jeez, okay, there it goes.
Seriously, come look at this.
So if you know it, say hi.
Ethel,
Paul?
Ethel, what's wrong with you tonight? What? What's wrong, Ethel?
The lights were going on and off on their own, despite the fact that this entire floor had reportedly been dormant for years. And that wasn't the only thing. A television set inside one of the rooms also appeared to be switching itself on and off, without anyone touching it. Once the footage made the rounds among the staff, a lot of them started to seriously entertain the idea that something supernatural was going on up there. Now sure, an electrical fault could potentially explain it away, but here's the detail that caught a lot of people's attention. If this floor had genuinely been abandoned for years, why are the lights, the TVs, and all the other equipment apparently still in full working order? So where do you land on this one? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Because these are the things a man recently discovered after taking a job at a liquor store. Before this position, he had never put any stock in the paranormal, but it didn't take long after settling into the shop for strange occurrences to start piling up. He kept hearing unexplained banging and watched doors swing open and shut, with no one nearby. And as these incidents grew more frequent, he started documenting what he was going through.
I'm hearing like noises coming from this back room. Oh my goodness, bro, it's happening again. All right, I'm gonna go and look. As you can see, nobody's back here. Nobody's behind the door.
On top of the banging, a disembodied voice was recorded whispering the words, "Come here." And the more time he logged inside that building, the worse things seemed to get.
Look, I'm hearing this door and there's stuff going on in the back. See, man, that's the stuff I'm talking about. Like, bro, and then I see something. Yo, if there's anybody in here, you need to leave. So, if there's anybody here, go. Yeah, I don't know about this, man. I don't know. What was that, bro? Yo, anybody in here? Anybody in here? Yo, anybody in here? Bro.
He was done. After that same familiar bang rattled the door again, he went to check it out, only to find himself standing face to face with a dark, shadowy figure. The unsettling presence jutted its head out from behind the door, giving him his first real look at whatever had been behind all of this. Not a single recognizable feature was visible on that disturbing face, and when he pushed through to the back room, it was completely empty. So the word tension, it seemed to provoke this entity, agitating it and escalating things dramatically, setting the stage for an encounter neither of them would ever shake. All right, guys.
Door open and close again, and I'm the only one. Bro, what the is that? Oh, ow. Bro, I just got pushed, bro. Ah, my arm hurts. Oh, come on, bro. Nobody in here. Ow, dude, I'm not doing this no more. Mama out, bro.
After spotting the figure once more, he threw himself toward the door, only to be shoved by something he couldn't see. He stumbled sideways and immediately started wincing in pain, and when he glanced down, an angry red mark had appeared on his arm. It looked exactly like someone had grabbed him with force. Somehow he found the nerve to step into the back room, but just like every time before, it was empty. I've come across a lot of haunted locations over the years, but a haunted liquor store is definitely for half a year. Matthew Wayne has been picking up on clicking noises and hushed voices inside his house. He did his best to brush them off, but the disturbances only grew more persistent, particularly whenever fear crept in. Convinced that whatever was there was feeding off his anxiety, he started filming in hopes of getting answers. Then one evening, while he was sitting in front of the TV, the sounds kicked in again.
Okay, so I'm just sat here. I said I were going to start trying to document it. I've been trying to watch this. Literally, selfish, literally just the corner of the sofa. Trying to watch this, I swear to God I can hear like whispering. Right, I'm gonna listen for a minute. I hate doing this. I don't know why I've decided to do this. So I'm just trying to watch TV. I swear I just keep hearing whispering. About 10 minutes ago, I just heard like 3 really loud. Right, okay. I'm gonna flip it because nobody wants to see my ugly face, and I'm gonna sit and listen. I'm gonna be quiet. See if anyone else can hear it.
The recording catches labored breathing uncomfortably close to him, along with barely audible whispering in the background. Shaken by what he captured, Matthew decided to put the footage out there. He's since reported that the strange activity hasn't let up, and in the meantime he's been staying at a family member's place. What exactly is behind these sounds is still a complete mystery. Jay had picked up this doll from an antique store, where it had apparently been kept apart from all the other items on display, isolated on its own. Gradually, he began to get the sense that something wasn't quite right about it. One evening, while unwinding in his living room, he spotted it sitting on the shelf and decided almost on impulse to start filming it. And that's when it happens.
I think I can see it on here. Hold on. Now it's stopped. Oh, wait, there it is. See if she moves. There it is.
The doll's head slowly rotates, as though it's fixing its gaze directly on the camera. It's a small movement, but once you notice it, there's no dismissing it. Jay mentioned he'd picked up on strange behavior from this doll before, but this was the first time he'd actually managed to get it on footage. Some viewers are completely convinced this thing is possessed. Others believe there's a perfectly rational explanation. So which side are you on? Surveillance footage recorded inside Stone Brewing World Bistro and Gardens at Liberty Station caught something unsettling that nobody has been able to fully explain, even to this day. A pale, wispy shape briefly floated through the frame before vanishing just as fast as it appeared. Once the clip made its rounds online, countless viewers started coming forward with their own eerie encounters, or those of people close to them, all tied to that same location. Of course, plenty of skeptics pushed back, suggesting the ghostly shape was nothing more than a camera artifact, or a trick of the light. So was this all just one big coincidence? Haunted House is a TikTok creator who lives somewhere in England. He originally launched his channel to document the frightening paranormal events that started plaguing his home after he brought in a mysterious African mask. We've actually covered his story on this channel before, but at some point he went completely dark for several months without a single post. Well, he's finally back, and he's brought new footage with him showing subtle yet deeply unsettling poltergeist behavior unfolding right in his hallway. Keep your eyes peeled for every detail.
I just got in from work and came up here and I heard this knocking noise and I thought, whoa. Ice definitely moving. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nothing happened in this house for ages. Nothing's actually happened for a while, which is why you've not seen me post any videos. It's kind of quiet enough since... Someone's still in this house, you want to do that again? Someone's here. Open the cupboard door. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Shit. Oh my god. Like when I first heard it I thought, oh, have I left the windows open? But look, windows are completely closed. There's no draft. Can you hear that tapping? It is, whoa, yes, whoa, 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 whoa. And like guys, just, you know, there's the, okay, I can show this, but look, I know all the fishing line conspiracy theories are in the comments on a lot of these ghost videos. There's no, I don't really know what this is proving, but look, there's no, my hand isn't getting caught in wire. There's nothing there. Can you open the door again? No, right, okay, we're leaving now.
It's the slow, quiet nature of what's happening that really gets under your skin. He's got his camera trained on 2 small storage cupboards in his home when one of the doors begins to gradually push itself open. Then, gently swings shut again, with no one anywhere near it. The interior of that cupboard is far too cramped to conceal a person, which immediately takes a staged prank off the table. He even steps right up to the door to give us an up-close view, and you can plainly see the wood shifting back and forth on its own. There's not a single string or wire in sight. Whatever presence is connected to that mask appears to have stirred back to life. WB Auctions is an antique auction house located in Wiltshire, England. The team there has spent years buying and selling vintage furniture, old paintings, and collectibles from bygone eras. But as time has gone on, they've started noticing some deeply unsettling things in their storeroom. Items shifting when nobody's around. Unexplained noises long after the building has been locked up. And just recently, their security system recorded something that left the owner genuinely shaken. It's 2 in the morning, well after the last staff member has headed home for the night. The storeroom sits completely undisturbed until a 1950s vintage baby pram begins to move entirely on its own. It glides slowly across the floor, drifting in the direction of the door. When the owner pulls up the footage the following morning, he can't believe what he's seeing. He heads straight to the storeroom to investigate, and what he finds there only deepens the mystery.
We hear about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 meters. And the most perplexing thing for me is that it was left in this position.
It's heavy, isn't it?
It's a vintage, it's a Silver Cross coach-built pram. Heavy, wow, yeah. Not easy to manoeuvre.
Because somebody, I did read a couple of the comments, and somebody had put on their old fishing wire, and I brought some to try it, but there's...
The pram is sitting right back where it started, exactly where it had been placed before closing time, as though nothing ever happened. The owner notes that this isn't some lightweight object that could shift on its own. It's a heavy, cumbersome piece that takes real effort to move. So what sent that pram rolling across the room at 2 in the morning? And perhaps the bigger question, what brought it back? Could one of the antiques in that store have something lingering around it from its past? Maybe the pram itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments. In 2026, explorer Urbex Hill went live from a 140-year-old Cleveland church he had never visited before. The building was caught mid-renovation with no explanation. Brand new doors had been hung, walls had been stripped back to bare studs, support beams held the ceiling in place, yet there was no work crew anywhere and no electricity running through the structure. Someone had painted the word "run" on the wall just inside the entrance. Hill brought 2 cameras and an internet box, so his audience could follow along in real time, just him, no crew, the way he always operates. What his viewers began picking up through the stream, though, was something he couldn't detect himself.
Bro, you know a place is scary when the word "run" is on the wall. Look at that. Give chat a second to get in. It looks more than scary. Yo, what up, chat? What up, what up? Hey, what's up, cats? Still tuning in. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Yo, what up, chat? What up? This place is crazy. And I haven't hit it yet. Right, "run" is on the wall. That's how you know this place is crazy. How's the quality looking?
The painted warning, the water damage, the garbage bag sitting dead center on the floor like whoever left it had done so in a panic. Hill admits on camera that he's already uneasy before he's fully stepped inside, and this is a man who has been doing this for years.
Bro, look at these ceilings. That's crazy. Like, I feel like if I... Oh, yeah, dude. I'm gonna have to be careful when I walk. You can see this hole right in the floor. It's gonna be one of those type of explorations. I hate weak floors. Yes, this is a new live stream, guys. I told you guys I was going live 3 times today. And depending on how this one goes, I might go live in another location. So just stay tuned, guys, and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification so you guys don't miss a live stream. Seriously. These live streams been kind of fire lately, so it's only a matter of time for something crazy happens, chat. And if you've watched my channel for any decent time, you know that.
Every single room has the ceiling ripped open. There are holes in the floor he has to carefully navigate around. He stops trying to work out who's been in here, because whoever it was, they didn't clear out the way normal scrappers do.
These stairs won't be up much longer, dude. I literally feel my weight bending each step. Yeah, you ain't lying. Whole lot of trust. What is that noise? Is that in the building? Y'all hear that? It's like a machine sound over there. Bro, there's no way they have water or something running in this building. What the dude? Surely not, right? Dude, listen to that. There's some running in this building. Dude, I know Chad can hear this. No, it's not a fan. There's no electricity in this building. Shit, there's holes in the floor right there. I'm not gonna go that way.
Then a sound starts somewhere above him, mechanical, rhythmic, like some kind of machine running in a building that has no power. Hill stops mid-step and listens, and that's when a message comes through from chat that completely reframes what he's trying to hear.
It's not a house, it's a church. You heard humming? Oh, you heard choir music? Y'all, yo, chat, be for real. Like, don't troll me right now. That's f***ed up, guys. I'm in this building all by myself. Like, be for real. If you heard something, say something. If you didn't, don't do that to me, bro. A little girl humming? No, for real? Y'all serious? Oh. Alright. Let's go check upstairs. Hopefully I don't fall through something like that.
You guys heard music. I don't hear. Hill stands completely motionless inside the empty church, while his viewers tell him through the live stream audio that there's a little girl humming somewhere in the building, and then choir music. Hill catches none of it. He asks chat to quit messing with him. Chat insists it's real.
Y'all hear that? It sounded like keys. Oh my God. I hope that's not the police. Yeah, I should turn the light off. Oh no. All right. Let's go. Damn, the stairs might not be any better. chalked either way. Why are you guys telling me to get out? For what? Look at that, guys. The stairs are done. Alright, let's get one last look up here.
Keys jingling somewhere nearby. The unmistakable smell of a cigarette being smoked inside a building that should have no one in it. Hill cuts his flashlight and goes dead silent. Whoever is close to him is flesh and blood, and they're standing between him and the way he came in.
No way. It's a whole nother part. Alright, well, I guess the live stream is not ending. And, oh no, that's not good. Sony camera's out of battery, or out of storage. Oh my god, dude, no. What an L. See, no, 0 minutes, chat. Look at that, dude. All right, well, we're just gonna peek up there. There's no more 4K footage anymore. Yo, hell no. Nope. Floor is all rotted out. Yeah, dude, I'm good. I'm straight. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, y'all.
Both cameras failing within minutes of each other. The staircase leading up to the one floor he still hasn't explored, he'll make the call he wouldn't normally make, pressing forward with no backup footage, by himself, in a building he now knows is far from empty. He'll walk out near midnight having never figured out what that mechanical sound was, never hearing what Chat heard, and never finding the person who was smoking that cigarette. On the way to his car, he spotted a second abandoned building directly across the street, a school, and made a mental note to return. Then he turned back for one last look at the church and said something he rarely says on camera: somebody's watching this building. He needed to come lock it up. Deep in the night, inside a Colombian shopping mall, security staff caught something drifting through the deserted walkways footage that exploded across social media within a matter of days. The conversation it sparked shows absolutely no sign of dying down. Here's what was caught on camera, and you'll see straight away why it hit so hard. A tiny figure darting through those vacant corridors, its outline unmistakably that of a small child, inside a building where no children had any business being at that hour. Several of the employees who were on shift that night claimed the figure appeared to move in their direction, almost as though it was trying to make contact. Whether that makes your skin crawl more or actually puts you at ease really comes down to what you think you're seeing. Something supernatural, a trick of the eye, or maybe a third option nobody's fully named yet. The comment sections are still alive with theories. Roll it back as many times as it takes, and let me know where you come down on this one. Reddit user Bianca5150 thinks she may have unknowingly filmed a ghost somewhere inside her own home. She says she has multiple dogs, and under normal circumstances they're pretty well behaved, but lately, every time she'd leave them alone for a few hours, she'd return to find the place completely wrecked. Her first assumption was that one of the dogs was to blame. So to figure out which one was causing the destruction, she went ahead and installed cameras throughout the house. Then, just after 6 in the evening, one of those cameras triggered a motion alert. She pulled up the live feed fully expecting to catch one of her dogs wandering around, but what she found instead was something a whole lot more unsettling. Rather than a dog, the footage shows what looks like a tall, dark figure standing motionless in the hallway. Bianca says nobody should have been inside that house at the time, nobody human. Anyway, only her dogs. And that's exactly what makes this so hard to explain. If an intruder had gotten in, the dogs almost certainly would have reacted barking, growling, giving chase. The cameras would also have picked up someone entering or exiting the property. But there was none of that. No signs of forced entry, no person visible anywhere in the footage, just that shadowy shape standing in the hall. Now Bianca is seriously questioning whether her dogs were ever responsible for the mess in the first place. Maybe something else entirely has been roaming through her home every time she steps out. So is this a simple camera artifact, a trick of the light, or did Bianca's security setup actually record something that can't be so easily dismissed? Natalie Hopkins is a YouTuber who regularly documents her visits to abandoned structures and locations with alleged paranormal histories, sharing those experiences with her followers. In the particular video we're covering today, she makes her way to Bel Air, Ohio, to look into claims of supernatural activity at the reportedly haunted Ross house. The full video runs well over an hour and captures a number of unsettling moments throughout. But the one that really stands out happens at roughly the 44-minute mark. Natalie and a few others are gathered in the basement, trying to make contact with a possible spirit, when out of nowhere, this unfolds on camera.
You give us a sign if anyone is here. Maybe one of the balls, light them up, move them. Could you give us a sign if anyone is here? Maybe one of the balls, light them up, move them. Could you give us a sign if anyone is here? Maybe one of the balls.
Without any obvious explanation, Natalie's blouse appears to shift on its own, almost as though an unseen hand is giving it a tug. What makes the moment especially compelling is how she reacts. She immediately clocks the movement, spins around, and her expression makes it clear she has no idea what just touched her. The timing is really what gives this clip its weight. The group is mid-session, actively reaching out to whatever might be present when the disturbance happens, and it's easy to understand why a lot of viewers feel they may have gotten an answer. That said, moments like this always leave room for debate, particularly when you're working with camera footage. Even so, the movement is strange enough that it's been generating serious conversation in the comments. As for the actual cause, that's likely a question that will never have a definitive answer. So where do you land on this one? Was what happened in the basement of the Ross house that night a genuine brush with the paranormal? Or is there a more grounded explanation? She thought she was out there alone in the middle of the desert until a pack of coyotes began closing in around her truck in the dead of night. Roaming Reckless is a channel built around solo overlanding and off-grid camping, typically with her dog Tazzy by her side. On October 26, 2025, she set off for a weekend getaway into the Colorado desert. What started out as a routine trip quickly became a genuine test of nerves and careful decision-making after a severe thunderstorm tore through the region the previous night. The spot she'd picked had solid reviews, but it came with one very specific warning. Rain could trap vehicles in the mud. By the following morning, the desert's clay-heavy soil called gumbo by the locals had transformed into a thick, clinging mess. Even just walking through it with Tazzy was a struggle, and attempting to drive out could have gone seriously wrong. On top of that, the area was under an active flood watch. Flash floods were a real possibility, and there was simply no getting out until the earth had a chance to dry. Throughout the day, she kept a close eye on conditions. She checked the water level in a nearby dry creek bed, making sure Tazzy stayed well back from the banks. She wiped down muddy paws, reorganized the truck, cleaned dishes, and sorted through her equipment. All the while, she kept glancing at the sky, anxious that another storm might be building. There was nothing to do but sit tight. Most of the day was spent sheltering in the truck while Tazzy rested, and she continued monitoring the water levels from a safe distance. With deep mud and flood risk boxing her in, heading out wasn't on the table, so she stayed busy by tidying up gear and getting some work done over Starlink. Then, late that night, an eerie stillness fell over everything, and that's when the sounds began.
Crazy.
An entire coyote pack had crept in close, their howls bouncing through the pitch-black darkness. She sat completely still inside the cab, listening as they moved around her uncomfortably near, and far too relaxed for comfort.
Oh my gosh, I see them. Yeah, I literally see them out there.
Come morning, things finally started turning around. The sun broke through, the creek began to drop, and the mud gradually firmed up, revealing a potential way out. She and Tazzy had made it through. By mid-morning, she was mapping out their exit route, now confident the ground could handle the truck's weight and that the worst was behind them. This terrifying experience happened to a young man who found himself alone at home after his parents headed out of town on a trip. In the period before things escalated, he began noticing unsettling details around the house items would shift from where he had left them, as if some invisible force was rearranging his surroundings. The atmosphere inside grew increasingly eerie, as though something else entirely was occupying the space alongside him.
No sé si escuchan ese ruido, pero estoy solo, ¿me entiendes? Estoy solo en la pieza y estoy solo en mi casa. O sea, no, amigo, no. No, boludo, se acaba de mover. ¿Qué? No, miren, para que vean que abajo no hay nadie, boludo. Posta. O sea, no estoy jodiendo ni nada. O sea, te juro.
But the weirdness didn't end there. He also started picking up strange sounds drifting out of rooms he knew were empty, and at one point spotted a dark, shadowy figure, which he managed to capture on his phone. He eventually posted multiple recordings to TikTok, though one clip in particular shook him more deeply than the rest, and it's the footage that finally pushed him to the conclusion that he simply couldn't remain in that house alone.
Estoy en mi pieza queriendo dormir, boludo, y me toca la puerta toda la noche, amigo. Son como las 1 de la mañana. No hay nada. No, amigo, ¿qué mierda es eso, boludo? ¿Qué mierda sos, la concha de tu madre? Boludo, no. Amigo, no hay nadie, boludo. No. Oye, se está escuchando esa mierda. ¿Qué? No, boludo, no. No. Nadie, amigo. O sea, no hay chance que haya salido alguien por acá, boludo. No, amigo, no. No, amigo, de nuevo esto. Pero qué mierda, boludo.
In that recording, a dark silhouette resembling a human shape appears inside one of the rooms. It holds its position for a few long seconds before disappearing instantly, leaving no sound and no indication of where it went. That single image was all it took to convince him something unwelcome had made its way inside. He wasted no time packing his belongings and went to take refuge at a relative's place. He still has no explanation for what the shadow was or where it came from, yet the footage stands as undeniable proof of the deeply unsettling encounter he lived through.
Nadie, amigo. O sea, no hay chance que haya salido alguien por acá, boludo.
All began when a Brazilian woman by the name of Milena set out to film a straightforward promotional clip for a nearby bakery and sweet shop. One of the products she'd been given was a small decorative mirror, included as a complimentary item with the order. Nothing about the situation felt off at first. It was the kind of everyday product review content that floods social media on a regular basis. She leaned her phone against the wall, faced the camera, and walked through each item just as you'd expect. Now, there's one key detail worth noting. Nobody was holding the phone. It stayed perfectly stationary the entire time, and given the angle it was shooting from, there didn't appear to be any room for a person to be positioned behind it, or so it seemed, right up until the moment the camera caught something it wasn't supposed to.
Gente, eu vou comer com vocês o melhor brigadeiro da vida, que é da doceria da Lulu. E olha que bonitinho que eu ganhei no Dia das Mães atrasado, mas ela me deu. É espelhinho de bolsa, deixa eu abrir e mostrar. Olha, que lindo. Deixa eu abrir. Ai, meu Deus. Amei. E agora vamos provar. Eu sou, tipo assim, viciada nesse brigadeiro. Amei.
For just an instant, something shows up in that reflection. It's something Melina had no idea was there while she was filming. It comes and goes in a flash, almost like a passing shadow, but when people slow the footage down and take a closer look, what appears in that mirror bears an unsettling resemblance to a pale human face. It's visible for only a split second before it vanishes, far too quick to register in the moment, but not quick enough to escape the eyes of viewers watching it back. Ever since the video made its way online, people have been throwing out all kinds of explanations. Some are convinced it's nothing more than a lighting quirk, an odd camera perspective, or the brain playing tricks. Others struggle to shake the feeling that what they're seeing genuinely looks like a face peering out from the glass. And perhaps that's precisely what keeps drawing people back to it, because the longer you stare, the less certain you become about what you're actually seeing. The following video was recorded by a group of guys who were out in the woods one night, just taking photos. The kind of casual late-night outing where nothing feels out of the ordinary, flashing pictures of the trees, the dark clearing, each other goofing around. Nobody noticed anything off until they got home and started going through the shots. Watch. In the photograph of the dark forest clearing, right there between the tree trunks, something pale is peeking out from behind the bark, and when the image is brightened and zoomed in, it becomes harder to dismiss. It looks like a slender, almost bone-white hand, fingers visibly wrapped around the edge of the trunk, as if something was standing just out of frame, watching them. Nobody in the group was unaccounted for at the time of that shot. Some compared it to folklore, surrounding forest spirits, entities said to observe travelers from behind trees without ever fully revealing themselves. Across many cultures, forests have long been associated with hidden watchers, beings that remain just outside direct view, visible only in glimpses before disappearing back into the landscape. Others think it's pareidolia, a trick of light on fungus or bark texture, but others insist the shape is far too defined and deliberate. If you look at the fingers, there's a specificity to them that fungus doesn't typically produce. So what was standing in those woods with them? In this next clip, a man is alone at night in what appears to be a dimly lit industrial space, and from the sound of things, something outside that closed metal door very much wants his attention. He's been watching the security monitors, a grid of at least 16 feeds covering the outdoor yard, when a series of heavy, rhythmic bangs suddenly strikes the door right next to him. Watch.
Tao xin mày á. Mày bẹo cỏ chim mọi người. Đi mày. Trước có phòng thủ đấy mà. Nam mô gì đâu. Nam mô gì đâu. Phải đánh biết. Cái người trực cơ luôn đó. Ê mày.
The banging is hard and deliberate, 3 strikes in fast succession against the metal, and the man's breathing immediately shifts into something closer to panic as he swings the camera toward the CCTV monitor instead of opening the door. Smart decision, honestly, because as he zooms in on one of the outdoor feeds, he notices something strange. A trash bin moves. No person appears beside it, and no obvious source for the movement is visible anywhere on the screen. Of course, there is no way to verify whether the knocking and the moving bin are connected, but viewers couldn't help noticing how perfectly the events complement each other. Something bangs on the door. He refuses to answer. Then something moves across the yard instead, almost as though whatever was outside realized it had failed to lure him into opening the door and decided to make itself known another way. Whether that's an overactive imagination, a coincidence, or something genuinely unexplained is up to you. But if the trash bin wasn't moved by a person, then what exactly was trying so hard to get his attention from the other side of that door? Quick thing before we continue, all of our videos are now available on Spotify too, so if that's somewhere you already find yourself late at night, every compilation we've made is waiting there for you. Whichever way you'd rather watch, the link's in the description. Now back to the video. The following clips were recorded by a man who's been documenting what he calls a weird entity living inside the sheds on his property, and over the course of 3 separate recordings, things go from unsettling to outright terrifying. In the first clip, he's walking through his cluttered garage shed in the middle of the day, pointing out tools and leftover junk from the previous owner, when he notices an interior door sitting slightly ajar, one he says he'd slammed shut in a prior video. That detail alone stops him cold. He makes his way through a second, smaller shed and eventually climbs a wooden ladder up into a dark attic space, yelling directly at whatever might be up there, challenging it, daring it to respond. Watch.
Hey! I'm over it! You hear that, you piece of shit? I'm over it! Get out of my house. You hear me? Oh, you're not saying nothing today, bitch, are you? Are you? Are you? Huh? You ain't saying nothing today, bitch. Where you at? Where you at? Because I do not care anymore. What's up? Where you at? Where you at? Huh? Nothing? Yeah, you don't want to talk shit today? That's what I thought. That's what I thought, pussy. Didn't want to say shit. Of course, man. Of course. Of course. I'm over it. I got a different energy now. That thing. I'm telling you what. This thing has been drawing me in. I have been standing at this window in my kitchen, staring out of this window right here in this shed. I have sat here. It's like it's drawing me in. I'll sit there, wake up late at night, come down the stairs, stand at that sink, or look out of that bathroom window and just stare at this shed. Watch it. Molly, you want to come in? Yeah. Well, if that doesn't tell you, I don't know what does.
As he descends the ladder, a faint, two-syllable whisper, something that sounds very much like "come back," is captured on audio. It's barely there, the kind of sound you'd miss if you weren't listening for it. But once you hear it, it's difficult to unhear. And then there's Molly. Dogs reacting to unseen presences is one of the most consistently reported details across paranormal cases. Animals are often cited as being sensitive to frequencies and stimuli beyond human perception, and her refusal to enter that shed is the kind of behavioral detail that's hard to explain away with coincidence. Some viewers immediately pointed to poltergeist activity, given the escalating nature of the disturbances. Others think whatever left behind the previous owner's belongings may have been stirred up by the plan to get rid of them, almost as if the entity has a territorial attachment to those objects. So he set up a ring security camera inside the shed to catch whatever was happening when he wasn't there. And what it recorded is something else entirely. Take a look. A white interior door swings open on its own. Then, with nobody visible in the frame, bangs start echoing through the shed. A small dark object is thrown from the open doorway. Old-fashioned instrumental music begins playing from no apparent source, and then a wooden plank is violently hurled across the room, before being lifted straight back up and pulled out of frame by something you cannot see. A guttural moan follows, then rapid, heavy footsteps, 2 sharp metallic taps, and finally, a loud scream. The level of violence in that footage is what separates it from a slowly opening door or a faint whisper. This is full-scale, aggressive poltergeist behavior, the kind associated in paranormal research with an active, intelligent presence rather than residual energy. Residual hauntings tend to be passive, impressions of past events replaying on a loop, like an echo. But what the Ring camera caught wasn't passive. Objects were thrown with intention, lifted and repositioned, and the music playing from an unknown source adds a layer of deliberate strangeness that's genuinely difficult to rationalize. He went up into the attic afterward and found broken name signs reading Mr. and Mrs. Ronald J. The surname snapped clean off, along with a shattered Rolex, shot glasses etched with the name of Sweetbriar College, a women's institution in Virginia, and a tie clip. Items belonging to people whose names and histories are now partially erased. Whether that matters to whatever is in that shed is impossible to say, but a lot of viewers think disturbing those belongings, or planning to sell them off, might be exactly what escalated the activity. That's where the third clip picks up, and by this point, he's barely holding it together. Watch.
I don't even know what to do. I'll take any help, any recommendations. I know there's been a lot of comments and stuff. The door's wide open, man. I know there's been a lot of comments and requests and everything to try to help me out. I'll take it. I'll take any advice I possibly can. Let me show you guys. I don't have any outlets up there. And this is all I can do. Look, all I can do is run that right here and set it down. That's the best I can get for Ring cameras to try to reach up here. So, man, I'm almost in tears, bro. Like, I'm almost in tears. It looked like something ripped a hole in there. I'm gonna have to look back in videos and see if that thing was ripped like that.
He's back at the shed, and he's filming himself pointing up at the dark attic opening when he notices something new, a torn hole in the insulation that wasn't there before. Something ripped through it. Whatever is up in that attic, it's made itself known 3 times now across these recordings, through a whisper, through thrown objects and phantom music, and now through sounds that don't belong to any animal he's identified. So what exactly is living in that shed, and how much longer before it decides to come down? The following video was recorded at night by a man alone in his home, and what makes it so difficult to shake isn't something he saw, but something he heard. He's filming from what appears to be a room at one end of a narrow hallway, the kind of corridor that feels longer when you're standing at one end in the dark. According to him, The voice he's about to capture is his own, his exact voice, calling to him from somewhere deeper in the apartment. Listen closely.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Hey, come here. Come here. I told you. Come here.
Over and over, something repeats, "Come here," from an unseen location down the hall, and then shifts to "what I told you," distant, echoey, and completely separate from his own audible reaction of "what the hell?" caught close to the mic. That contrast is what sells it. His voice is right there, sharp and close. The other voice sounds like it's calling from somewhere it shouldn't be able to reach. Some viewers immediately landed on the idea of a mimic, an entity that, in many paranormal traditions, is said to replicate a person's voice or appearance precisely to lure them somewhere. The unsettling part of that theory isn't just the imitation, it's the intent behind it. "Come here," repeated that many times, isn't random. It sounds like something trying to draw him out. Skeptics argue a speaker or a planted recording could produce exactly this effect, but the timing of his reaction and the acoustic difference between the two voices makes that harder to dismiss outright. Then things escalated. This is part 2, filmed the same night in the same space, and now he's standing outside a closed white door, listening to what's happening on the other side. His cat is in the apartment, but he's already saying it isn't the cat. Watch.
Okay, I don't know what you're doing. You can literally hear that. God. What the fuck? No.
The sounds behind that door build from scraping and scuffling into something frantic, dragging, rapid movement, what sounds like something throwing itself around, until it becomes aggressive, banging against the door itself, fast and repeated. Then the door opens. The hallway is quiet. His small black cat is standing there, perfectly still. Whatever was making that noise had no obvious source. The banging alone was loud enough that it's hard to reconcile with the calm scene revealed a second later. And now he's in a hallway where, moments earlier, something was calling his name. That's a difficult place to stand. This next video was recorded by a static security camera inside what looks like an attic bedroom or playroom, and the timestamp puts this at just before 8 p.m. on November 22nd of 2022. The room is quiet, a desk, a chair, a large stuffed animal sitting upright, a crawl space door along the slanted left wall. Nothing unusual, at least at first. Then, without any breeze or visible disturbance, the stuffed animal begins to slump forward. Watch.
So this happened.
The toy falls from the chair, and at the exact same moment it hits the floor, that small white crawlspace door swings open on its own, slow and deliberate, revealing nothing but darkness behind it. Some believe something was moving through that room, interacting with objects in sequence, as if testing boundaries. Others think the timing between the toy falling and the door opening is too precise to be coincidental, like cause and effect, except nothing visible caused either one. Whatever was in that crawl space that night, it didn't stay hidden for long. The following video was recorded by a lady and her friend Josh, who decided to experiment with a Ouija board and film the entire session. At first, nothing unusual happens as their fingers rest lightly on the planchette, asking questions into the quiet room, waiting for any kind of response. For nearly 20 minutes, everything seems still until this happens. Watch.
Blow out a candle if you're here. Right then.
Lol.
Maybe he's not here. Oh, we're assuming it's gender. Are you male
yeah.
or female?
Yeah. Are you male or female? Are you both?
Are you a male? What was that?
It's probably just a house creaking.
No. Oh my god. No.
No. Right. Close that door. Close that.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Close that door.
Nah. I'm gone. No. I'm.
Without warning, a door behind them slowly opens on its own. She quickly gets up, clearly shaken, and walks over to close it. But another door suddenly slams shut with force, louder, sharper, and impossible to ignore. Ouija boards have long been associated with attempts to contact spirits. Many believe they don't just allow communication, they act as invitations. Invitations for something unseen to step closer, to listen, and sometimes to follow. What makes situations like this especially concerning is one rule that experienced users always warn about. Never remove your fingers from the planchette without properly ending the session by saying goodbye. According to paranormal belief, saying goodbye isn't symbolic. It's a way of closing whatever was opened. Without it, the connection is believed to remain active, leaving whatever answered free to linger. And in this video, viewers noticed something disturbing. When the door first opened, both friends instinctively pulled their hands away from the board. There was no clear goodbye, no closure, just fear and distance. She later explained that after the recording ended, they did say goodbye and threw the board away, hoping that would end everything. But many believe once something responds, simply throwing the board away doesn't undo the invitation, because sometimes the board isn't what brings it in. It's the moment you asked it to come. In this next clip, two friends decide to explore the basement of Danvers State Hospital. They enter through the rear loading garage and slowly make their way down the long, dimly lit corridor toward the front of the building before turning back. The place is quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that feels heavy rather than empty. But while they were walking, something else may have been down there with them, and although their eyes didn't catch it in the moment, the camera did. Watch. If you look closely, you can see what appears to be a figure walking past. Now, some viewers believe it could be a homeless person who simply didn't want to be noticed. But then there's the location. Danvers State Hospital has a long and unsettling history. Originally opened in the late 1800s as a psychiatric facility, it's been surrounded by rumors for decades, stories of harsh treatments, overcrowding, and patients who never left. Explorers have claimed to hear disembodied footsteps in empty corridors, whispers in the basement, and shadow figures moving between doorways long after the hospital shut down. So was this a person moving quietly in the dark? Or could it be something tied to the building's past, still walking the halls it once knew? I'll let you decide. Now in this next video, a woman who enjoys collecting haunted dolls captures something unbelievable. Watch this. At first glance, you must have assumed the obvious: faulty wiring, hidden batteries, or some kind of built-in mechanism. But after looking closely and seeing that there are no batteries inside, you start to wonder. Collectors who specialize in haunted objects often believe certain items can act as vessels. Dolls, in particular, are thought to be ideal because of their human-like form. They have faces, eyes, and bodies, something that, according to paranormal belief, makes it easier for a spirit to attach, observe, and even express itself. Some collectors say they have experienced dolls changing position, making sounds, or even appearing in different rooms without explanation. But this is exactly why so many people can't stand them. There's something deeply unsettling about an object that looks human but isn't alive. Something that can sit silently for years and then suddenly move when no one touches it. It creates the feeling that it isn't just an object anymore, but something aware, something present. And moments like this only deepen that fear. Because if there are no batteries, then what exactly made it move? Until more updates are shared, this remains unsolved. The following video comes from a man who, for weeks, kept waking up to find his kitchen in complete disarray. Cabinets left slightly open, utensils on the floor, and containers knocked over. At first, he blamed rats. It was the only explanation that made sense, especially living in an area where rodents weren't uncommon. But something about it didn't sit right with him. Some of the objects being moved were heavy, solid containers, and things that would require real force to push off the counter. Still, he tried everything: traps, repellents, sealing entry points. And yet, every morning, the mess kept coming back. Eventually, he decided to install a camera in his kitchen, hoping to finally catch whatever was responsible. And what he captured left him shaken. Watch this. The movement doesn't look like the items were unstable, then fell. It looks more like something unseen is standing there, choosing what to move next. Some believe this could be a poltergeist, a type of entity known not for appearing, but for interacting physically with the environment. Unlike apparitions that are only seen briefly, poltergeists are often associated with repeated disturbances, objects being pushed, thrown, or displaced without warning, and the kitchen, being a central and active part of any home, often becomes a focal point. What makes this more unsettling is the pattern. This wasn't a one-time incident. It happened repeatedly, night after night, almost like whatever was there had grown comfortable, confident enough to act openly. He fears this is only the beginning, so we can only hope he gets all the help he needs. Unlike the man in the previous clip, who is still searching for answers, this man says he already knows what he's dealing with. For months now, he's been living with what he believes is the spirit of a child. It started with light footsteps running across the hallway when no one else was home, toys he didn't own appearing in different places, and soft giggling late at night, the kind that stops the moment he tries to follow it. Sometimes, he even hears laughter echoing from empty rooms, playful but wrong. He's done everything he could think of. He's cleansed the house, he's performed last rites to make whatever is there move on peacefully, but nothing has worked. And now, the activity has started to escalate. Watch this. First, the kitchen cabinet. Then you can hear something giggle, and then comes the moment that truly terrifies him. For a split second, something that looks like a small hand appears, and there's no way anyone could fit into that cabinet. Many believe that childlike spirits can be deceptive, and they don't always present themselves as harmless. The laughter, the runny, the playful noises, it creates the illusion of something harmless, until it isn't. So what do you think? Is he really being haunted by something childlike? Or is there some logical explanation we're missing? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. In this next clip, a guy and his friend are playing card games, enjoying what was supposed to be a normal, quiet night, when suddenly, the bathroom door starts doing this.
Bueno, te dejo primero. Listo, te regalaste. Truco. Quiero. No, dale, boludo. No le des bola, no le des bola, no le des bola porque es peor. No, no le des bola. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3 de la mañana. Las 3 de la mañana. Siempre arranca los redes, no le des bola. Hace cuenta no pasa nada porque si no es peor, boludo. No, dale, Leon, a mí me da miedo. No le des bola. Dale, dale, juega, boludo, dale. No es nada, son ruidos nomás. No, ni en pedo eso por la aguja de mierda esa me hiciste jugar otra vez. Si salió re mal, ni nos contactamos, dale, jugá. Ahí te está, para, dale, boludo, no, apaga la luz. No, no apague nada. Apaga la luz. No apague nada. Apágala. No, ya está. Para que le voy a preguntar. No apagué. No seas cagón, pará. ¿Por qué no quisiste hablar con nosotros ayer? No pregunté nada. Pará. Para que, a ver, vamos a probar, pará. Manifestate si estás acá. Ya está, boludo. Ahí está. Entra que yo le pregunto. Dale, entra, dale, no seas cagón. Yo no voy a entrar, yo me quiero. Dale, que es la primera vez que me pasa estando con alguien, dale. Encima tengo todo grabado, pará. ¿Por qué me estás molestando a mí? No una vez, boludo, ya estábamos en la mierda. Pará, no te vayas. Pará. No, dale, boludo, no, dale. En serio te digo. Si te ayudo, ¿me dejas en paz? Pará. Entra. No, abrí la puerta. No entro ni pedo. No, yo me quiero. Pará. ¿Cómo te saco de ahí? ¿Moriste hace mucho?
Para, entra, para, ¿podemos entrar a verte? Entra, dale, para, dale, no seas cagón, entra.
No, a mí me recagaste.
Dale, por favor, entra que te grabo de acá, dale. Entra, boludo, dale. Prende la luz. Pará, déjame a mí, vení, déjame a mí. Pará. No hay nada, boludo. Vamos a salir.
The handle begins shaking aggressively, like someone on the other side is desperately trying to get out. What makes this even more disturbing is the fact that the door isn't locked. With that much force on the handle, the door should open easily, but it didn't. More like whatever or whoever was there was trying to get their attention. According to the owner of the apartment, this wasn't the first time strange things had happened in that bathroom. He's heard violent banging on the same door before, and sometimes, late at night, he hears whispers coming from inside. Not random noises, but what sounds like actual conversations. Multiple voices speaking too quietly to understand, but clear enough to know something is there. But viewers pointed out one critical mistake. He opened the door. There's a long-standing warning repeated in paranormal circles. If something knocks, shakes, or tries to lure you into opening a door when you know no one should be there, you don't open it. Because sometimes, the act of opening the door is seen as an invitation. And then, a comment surfaced that made the entire situation even more unsettling. One viewer claimed to know the guy in the video through TikTok. According to them, the activity didn't stop. It got worse. Much worse that his behavior began to change. He became distant, erratic, and paranoid, like he was constantly being watched. And then one day, he disappeared. No warning and no explanation. Some people believe whatever was behind that door was a demon that attached itself to him and eventually broke him, which makes people wonder, what if he didn't open the door that night? Now, in this next clip, a woman shares the disturbing activity that's been happening inside her home, a house she lives in with her husband and her father-in-law. At first, the incidents were easy to ignore, but recently, the activity has become impossible to dismiss and seems to center around one specific place, her father-in-law's bedroom. Watch this.
Alright guys, some crazy stuff's been happening in my house. I'm trying to catch it on camera. The door shut like 5 minutes ago. I opened it back up. I'm gonna see if it'll do it again. Here we go. Oh shit. Oh my god, that was so crazy. I really didn't think it was gonna happen like that on cue. Jesus. Oh god. Why is my camera glitching out? Oh, that tends to happen when you get close to stuff, I guess. Okay, I just want to show you guys that no one's in here. No one's here but us. This is a closet. Let me try to turn the light on so you guys can see. Like, there's nothing in here, nobody in here. Like, what the fuck? Nobody under a bed. You can't see nothing. Ah! Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god. What the? And guys, I know my father-in-law did not just shut that fucking door. He's like 60 some years old, guys. Like, this stuff. And this is his bedroom, and he's scared to death. Like, he's been sleeping on the couch. And my brother's been sleeping in his bed, but this is crazy. What the? I don't know.
What makes this even more emotional is something viewers found in the room. Her father-in-law lost his wife years ago, and he still keeps a picture of both of them inside the bedroom, Some viewers believe this may not be something hostile at all. They believe it could be her, and that the door slamming could be her way of making herself known, not to harm, but to remind him that he isn't alone. Many believe that fear can create distance between the living and spirits who mean no harm, and instead of reacting with panic, some suggest she helps her father-in-law acknowledge the presence calmly, even speak to her, as a way of bringing peace to both sides. But others see something far more concerning. They warn that not every entity that appears in a familiar space is who it seems to be. Some entities are believed to mimic loved ones, using emotional attachment as a way to gain trust and remain close. The sudden, forceful movement of the door doesn't feel gentle or comforting. It feels aggressive, like something trying to assert control over the space. So if it isn't his late wife, then something else may have chosen that room for a reason. But as always, I'll leave you to be the judge. In this next video, a woman visiting a hospital captures something she didn't notice at the time. But once viewers saw it, it completely changed how the footage was understood. Watch this. If you focus on the right side of your screen, near one of the wards, something briefly peeks out. It's quick, almost cautious, like whatever it is doesn't want to be fully seen. And then, seconds later, it appears again, this time on the left side. What makes this more disturbing is what happens next. She immediately goes back to check those rooms herself, expecting to find maybe a nurse, a patient, or at least someone who had been standing there moments earlier. But when she looks inside, the rooms are empty. Hospitals are places where life and death exist side by side. Every hallway has seen moments of relief and moments of loss. Over the years, countless patients have spent their final hours inside rooms just like those. And many people believe that when someone passes suddenly or with unfinished emotions, their presence can linger, tied to the very place where they took their last breath. So what do you think she saw? A nurse stepping out of view at just the right moment? Or something that never really left those halls in the first place? In the following video, the man behind the camera keeps moving through what looks like a storage area, the kind of tight corridor where every box and shadow feels like it has weight. And you can tell he is already on edge as he scans each corner with the camera. He stops when he notices a door that should never be opened during the investigation, sitting cracked just enough to make the hallway feel wrong, and he slowly leans in to look behind it, even though the team is nowhere nearby.
La puerta se abre y se cierra sola.
Se está abriendo esa puerta. No hay nadie. Y por acá también se escucha ruido.
He finds the door opening a crack, so opens it and checks behind it just to see nothing. Because of this, he walks away and the door shuts by itself as a strange noise starts playing behind it, and he speed walks out of the hallway. The second that door slams, you can see his whole body tense, because that wasn't wind, and it definitely wasn't timing or coincidence. And the noise that follows sounds like something trying to push through the wall just to remind him he is not supposed to be there. His footsteps turn into a full speed walk that almost looks like he wants to run, but refuses to make noise, and every few seconds he glances back like he expects the door to open again. Moments like that show exactly why investigators always say curiosity is one thing, but when the building answers you on its own, that is when you learn how fast fear can move. It was late enough that the local markets should have felt peaceful, but every shutter was pulled down tight and the whole place looked abandoned, except for May cutting through the empty rows. She knew the place was closed and shouldn't have held any noise at all, which is why the first faint scream stopped her in her tracks, sounding like someone crying out in pain from deep inside the metal-covered stalls. She followed it slowly, each step making the sound grow sharper and more desperate, until it felt like it was right beside her, but no matter where she turned, there was never anyone there.
Imagínate andar por la central de abastos y oír esto.
The screaming and crying keep getting louder as she walks, yet she can't find the source, even when it sounds feet away. By the time she reached the end of the walkway, the noise was so overwhelming it felt like it was coming from the walls, and she spun around expecting someone to stumble out, but the shutters were sealed tight like they hadn't moved in hours. That was the moment she realized she wasn't chasing a person at all, and the way the sound cut off instantly once she stopped filming, almost like it knew she understood, made the silence after feel even worse. May had walked straight into something trying to be heard, and the fact that it never showed itself only made it clearer that she had been listening to a ghost. It happened late in the evening when the house was already settling into that quiet that makes every shadow seem a little thicker, and Charlie kept tugging at his dad's sleeve, saying there was a scary boy standing across the room staring at him. His dad brushed it off at first, calling it pretend, but Charlie wasn't smiling or joking. He just kept insisting the boy was real and he didn't want to be near him. Eventually, the dad told him to show where this scary boy was, so Charlie nervously walked with him through the hall and stopped at a doorway, pointing inside with his hands shaking like he expected something to move.
What are you saying, Charlie? There's a scary boy where? What do you mean? What, are you doing pretend?
Yeah. The following video was recorded by a man who had recently moved into an old house built back in 1912, a property with enough history behind it to already make him uneasy before anything strange even started happening. According to him, the previous tenant had suddenly left without much explanation, and after settling in, he began experiencing odd disturbances throughout the house that pushed him into researching the property's past. During a late-night spirit box session, one word reportedly kept coming through over and over again: fire. After digging deeper, he discovered that the basement of the house had been the site of an accidental fire sometime around 1965, a detail that suddenly made the atmosphere in the home feel a lot heavier. Then one night, while standing in a lit room looking down a dark hallway, he caught this on camera. Watch.
Look, it's my hand.
At the far end of the hallway, a guitar begins to sway on its own, slowly at first, before the movement starts growing stronger. Skeptics pointed toward possible drafts or airflow as the most logical explanation, but what unsettled viewers was how the motion seemed to build, almost like something unseen kept interacting with it. Paranormal theories surrounding old homes often connect fires to lingering energy, especially when the event was sudden or traumatic. Some believe places marked by tragedy can hold on to fragments of that moment for decades, replaying themselves through unexplained sounds, movement, or disturbances tied to certain parts of the house. And considering the repeated mention of fire during the spirit box session, many viewers think whatever is in that hallway may be connected to what happened in the basement all those years ago. Whatever started the movement, he never found the source. In this next clip, someone is walking through a property called the Green Manor, an old house with narrow winding staircases, dark reddish walls, a library with built-in shelves, and an upstairs room lined with antique dolls. And from the moment they point the camera at a teal wooden door in the hallway, something feels off. The door is slightly ajar, and the vintage oval doorknob on its brass backplate just sits there, still and quiet, the way doorknobs are supposed to. But then it starts to move. Watch. The knob jiggles, turns clockwise, and a sharp metallic click rings out as the latch fully disengages and the door swings open on its own. Nobody's on the other side. The person filming then pushes through, climbs the creaking staircase, and when they reach the top, they pan into a side room where a full church pew is lined end to end with at least a dozen porcelain dolls just sitting there, staring. Some people who've seen this footage think the doorknob moment is consistent with what's sometimes called a residual haunting, the idea that a location can essentially record repeated actions, like opening a door, and replay them without any conscious intent behind them. Others think something at the Green Manor is far more aware than that, pointing to the way the latch fully releases, a deliberate mechanical sequence, not just a rattle. Whether it's residual energy or something with intention, you be the judge. In this next clip, a family arrives at what looks like a spacious hotel suite. A large, well-lit room with high vaulted ceilings, a stone fireplace, a loft area, and a balcony with plenty of natural light coming through. Nothing about the space looks threatening, but the moment they reach the doorway of room 24, something happens that none of them were prepared for. Watch.
Come on, Mama!
Oh, she don't like this one. Wasn't expecting that. Dang, Big Mama. Is there something in here? We rebuke it, Kai Kai. We rebuke it. She said, Yeah. Yeah. It's shit on the toilet.
That's where you and Dad sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
Good. There's nothing.
What?
Close it. I'll pull out bed. This is so nice.
You're welcome. I hope y'all like it. I hope y'all got some energy because we're gonna be up all night.
She immediately starts screaming, no, crying loudly, and pulling away from the room, and she doesn't stop for the entire clip. What makes this so hard to dismiss is that the girl didn't calm down. There's a belief, fairly common in paranormal communities, that young children, especially toddlers, are far more sensitive to presence than adults, because they haven't yet learned to rationalize away what they're feeling. You decide what that little girl was sensing at that doorway. Now in this next clip, a man is out in his shed during the day working on tools when he notices something that stops him cold. A sound coming from a dark attic space above a storage closet he says he's never once been up into. He grabs his phone and starts filming himself, panning the camera around the cluttered shed before pulling open a narrow closet door to show what's inside. Listen closely.
Me or not, I don't care, but listen to this. I'm out in the shed working on tools. Listen. Dude, I swear to God, there's something up in this attic, man. I'm not getting up in here and shit. Do you hear that? Dude, oh my God, bro. Oh my God, man. There's something in this neighborhood, dude. Oh my God. Dude, I don't know what to do in a situation like this. Do you hear this shit, man? This thing was built before I bought this house, man. I've never gone up here one time. What the fuck was that, man? There's stuff left from the previous owner. Oh. Oh my god, dude. Oh.
If you listen closely, you'll hear a baby crying, and it happens not once but multiple times, getting clearer and closer each time. The man's reactions are hard to fake. He slams the door, shouts, opens it again, keeps asking if you can hear it too. Then, when he finally works up the nerve to climb the ladder and hold the camera up into that dark space, the last sound he catches, right before the camera drops, is a clean, unmistakable cry of a baby coming from somewhere deep in that darkness. Some viewers think he has squatters in there, which, honestly, isn't impossible. Whatever was up there, he didn't stick around long enough to find out. So what do you think was making that sound?